Alright, I've got a quick leveling guide here for you guys, mostly for the new players, or if you just haven't played in such a long time, you kind of forgot where you should be in the game, at what level, and how to optimize your leveling experience. So this is just a general reference here around what level you want to be in each area of the game. So I'll just let you look at this, and then the next thing I wanted to show you is this experience chart here. So the way experience works in Diablo 2, it's based off a formula of your level versus the monster level, or the difficulty level. So this will give you kind of an idea that you see there's this kind of sweet spot where you're going to be getting the most experience throughout the game, and it'll also give you an idea of why it is such a challenge to hit 99 in Diablo 2, because once you get to, let's see, about level, once you get to like the late 80s, it's really hard to get good experience. You can see here it just starts to nosedive about level 88 or so, and you're gonna hardly get any experience anymore at that point. And if you do happen to die in Hell, you lose 10% of your total level. In Nightmare, you lose 5% of your total level. So anytime you die, it's gonna take away tons of your progress towards that next level when you're in those late 80s, early and in the 90s. Okay, so now, just having shown you this, I'll just explain that the guide I'm gonna give you about what areas to level in, it may not be 100% exact, but by looking at this, you can tell, you'll start to feel it. If you're in an area and you're over leveled, you'll notice you go from getting a level or two per run to only getting half a level to getting a quarter of a level. Once you get to the point where you're only getting 10% of a level per run, you might want to start moving on in the game and get to the next area to farm XP. Otherwise, you're kind of wasting your time and you're not being as efficient as you can possibly be. So let's just cover the areas now that I would recommend you level in. And at the start of the game, it may be more efficient to press on and not stay quite as long to farm XP, just because you'll gain access to better drops the further in the game you go. So let's jump in now and just quickly cover the areas. That shouldn't take much time. Alright, so in Act 1, you're just going to play through the game normally until you get to the Rescue Cain quest, which is pretty early on. Once you can go to Tristram, you can do Tristram runs until around level 12 to 15. 15 would be the latest you'd want to stay there. After that, you're not going to get any XP. At that point, between 12 and 15, go ahead and kill Andariel, and then we will move into Act 2. You can farm Tristram in Nightmare and Hell difficulty as well, but oftentimes you will be doing Baal runs to such a high level that it will make the majority of XP farming in the next difficulty obsolete. But it is an option if Baal runs are too hard, or if you just want to push farther into the game because of drops, etc. Act 2, you'll just play normally until you get to Arcane Sanctuary. Here you can choose to either do Arcane Sanctuary runs or Talrash's Tomb runs. It's really up to you. Personally, I like Tomb runs because you can kill Duriel get a chance at some drops, and also the Arcane Sanctuary map is just kind of annoying at times. And then you'll do this from about whatever level you get there until the early to mid 20s, whenever you feel comfortable leaving to go into Act 3. And when you get to Act 3 is kind of the worst act in the game, as far as most people's opinion goes. You can farm Travencel if you want from, you know, the mid 20s until the late 20s or 30 or so. It's not really necessary here, but you have that option if you need the extra levels. It will help you out if you're using skills for damage. Any level will give you a big damage boost. And you're not really going to farm Mephisto for XP. That's more for gear. Mephisto does have some council members around him though, so you can get some okay XP from that, but typically you'll just push on into Act 4 right away. In Act 4, you're gonna rush through as quickly as you can, start doing some Chaos Sanctuary runs. This can carry you into the early 30s. You also have the option to do some cow runs after you've killed Diablo in normal. Once you're done with this, you'll go into Act 5. You can get some okay XP killing Shink a couple of times outside Haragoth. After that, I would just push through the rest of Act 5 as quickly as you can and kill the Ancients to start doing some Bale runs. If you're not strong enough to do Bale runs, I would either continue with Chaos Sanctuary runs or cows, or if there's a spot in Act 5 that you feel like is working for you, you're probably better off doing Chaos Sanctuary runs though. Just you'll get better loot as well as good XP that will help you progress. Once you're able to start successfully doing Bale runs, you can stay here until the early 50s, and then you can go into Nightmare. You can go into Nightmare before that if you want to, and then just repeat the areas that you leveled in normal, going through Trist runs to Arcane Sank runs, Tomb runs, Trav runs in Act 3, Chaos Sank runs in Act 4, and then you'll be back to Act 5. Anytime you get to Act 5 though, you can get a ton of XP if you're able to farm Bale runs. And so normal you'll do Bale runs, you could go up to 52. In Nightmare you can Bale into the 60s, and then in Hell you can Bale from that until the end of time, essentially. With that being said though, you most likely won't be able to do Bale runs right off the bat. That's more if you're getting carried by other people. It's one of those things you just kind of have to feel out if you're strong enough to do it and you can do it, or if you can get carried through it, you'll net massive amounts of experience. So you'll just kind of want to go off these tips in this guide here to get a good idea where you should be in the game, how much percent of a level you're getting per run, to decide where you want to farm XP, because you need to factor in the speed that you can kill stuff as well as the drops you might get and how much XP you're actually getting from each run. Alright, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching. I'll let the remainder of this Duriel fight clip play out, and remember to give them the D.
possible.